Welcome to Smart Remarks, where we'd like a tax break too, but that doesn't mean we're going to use the money to create jobs. So let's talk jobs. Jobs. There are 13.9 million unemployed Americans, and until they find work, our troubles are going to continue. But the question is, how do you create jobs? Now, our conservative friends have their answer. Of course, they want to cut taxes. Because see, if we cut the corporate tax rate, a tidal wave of jobs will engulf America! Or something like that. I mean, I obviously don't believe this. Cutting corporate taxes is certain to help the bottom line, but will it actually induce firms to hire more people? For firms to hire and expand, there needs to be an increase in demand, and there is no increase in demand. And until people have jobs, or those with jobs get a raise, you remember those raises, the demand is going to stay flat. But even if demand were surging, there's little to suggest that cutting taxes would actually create jobs. Earlier this summer in U.S. News & World Report, Susan Milligan wrote that, quote, "The past behavior of corporations that have received large tax cuts has not necessarily been to use the money to hire more people. The Bush-era tax cuts have been in place for a decade, and the unemployment rate is still 9.1%. And she also noted how multinationals like Apple and Google are asking for a tax holiday that would allow them to bring billions in earnings now parked offshore onshore at a vastly reduced tax rate. Because see, this too would create jobs! Except that the last time they got a tax holiday in 2004, it didn't really create jobs. The New York Times reported that they brought then $312 billion onshore, and 92% of it was returned to shareholders in the form of dividends and stock buybacks. So where is the actual evidence that cutting taxes produces jobs? Best I can tell, there isn't any. It's all based on hope. We hope that if we cut their taxes, they're going to use some of that money to create jobs, because some companies might, but some might not. And some might use the extra cash to hire, but they might hire abroad rather than here. The Washington Post recently reported that some of the multinationals pushing for this tax holiday don't release the breakdown of jobs here versus jobs overseas. And some who do release the information report that they are hiring there while trimming staffs here. So figure this out. Give us a tax break and we'll create jobs, maybe, and they'll be good American jobs, maybe, but maybe not. Hey, that's a good strategy, don't you think? How about this instead? If you get a tax break, we require you to create jobs right here in America. You know, you get to bring those billions onshore at the low rate of 5 or 6%. But you must create X number of jobs in America. And if you don't, then you're on the hook for the whole corporate tax rate on all the money. Now, this would never fly, obviously. Conservatives would be outraged for destroying freedom and we're telling businesses what to do. But the point is, if we're going to base our policies on the notion that tax cuts create jobs, then tax cuts had better create jobs. And if they don't, what we need is not tax cuts. We need a better policy.